Yeah, it kind of feels that way unless they can change something up pretty drastically at this stage, but I do want to point out something as well as, we'll wait till after this pick. Yep, okay, they will in fact go for the Dusa. But for Dark Mago on that Kunkka, that last game was, damage-wise, let's say, one of the worst games he has played in this event, or in recent memory on the Kunkka. And even with that being the case, he was still absolutely massive for them. How many times, right? Did the skewer get canceled by the X? He pulled a teammate back. All these things. You had a situation where Dark Mako basically said, this is no longer about my game, this is about my utility, and Thunder Awaken still won it pretty handily. So we're always talking about Dark Mako on this hero, how strong he is, and normally it's by sort of filling up the stat sheet. In the last game, that didn't really even happen, and he was still dominant.
Yeah, and honestly, all the pullback plays just kind of cutting Leo's style down a bit, which was just a little bit sad to see because he's on the cool hero, he's on the playmaker, and very interesting because they go for the Medusa, they go for the Brewmaster, just trying to kite it out. I like that we've seen Brewmaster twice today. Don't think he's nearly as strong as he was in the previous patch with the way that Drunken Brawler kind of makes you choose what you get. But at the same time, really interesting switch up of the hero. Hopefully, I really want to see the Brewmaster in this game play a little bit more on the green side of the Drunken Brawler stage because I think
Right.
the previous time he was all in on the blue, he was all in on that miss chance, and it just felt like it wasn't working. And then he was just dying to spells. But at the very least, you have that armor, you get to be a little bit more tanky. But I love the Brewmaster versus the Medusa. Uh, Now the real question is going to be about scouting, I think, for Lava. If the Beastmaster can get an idea of where the Monkey King and the Brewmaster are playing, it's very hard for Thunder Awaken to really catch their opponents off guard here. At the same time, if you ever get this brew split off, the team fight's more or less just busted wide open. You have to immediately run, or you have to work on getting your Medusa out here because X marks, the Cyclones, the Monkey King ring, they're very obnoxious tools that Thunder Awaken have to actually deal with this Medusa. But I think Lava had to go for it because without this pick, what are you farming towards? Who are you looking at? I don't think they were going to look for a hero like, let's say, the PA, just because you have those same problems and you don't want to concede the lane. At least Medusa can fight for her own space just a little bit more than some of these other carries. It's still not ideal, though.
Yeah, not ideal, but best you're going to get in that situation, which seems to be the position that a lot of Thunder Awaken's opponents have sort of been put into as Lava go with the bans on the carries. That was the thing that was sort of interesting. I was wondering, would Lava buy into the Monkey King as basically in this instance a 1 or a 4? Most of the time when we've seen it, it has been run as that carry, but Lava sort of seemed to think this is probably going to be a Matthew Monkey King instead. So, trying to prepare for it. Terrorblade and PA, pretty solid bans on their side. Meanwhile, for Thunder Awaken, they're not 100% sure on that Mars. Right, they start with the ban on the Storm Spirit, they follow it up with the Undying. Now we
Ooh.
see the Dawnbreaker. That, well, I think that actually does answer our question. I don't think the Dawnbreaker would go mid here.
Yeah, I think
That
it's going to
doesn't
be a
really...
Mars mid. I think it's going to be a Mars mid and a Cat U Dawnbreaker. I'd love to see the Dawnbreaker in a core position, but we're not at that level of Dota yet. We're not in the meta where that's a thing. But at the same time, uh, super comfort pick for Cat U. If he is laning versus a Monkey King and a Brewmaster, he's going to be able to make a lot of space. Not to mention a lot of magic damage alongside the Medusa. So maybe get a nice kill, especially onto the Monkey King, who kind of has to play around those tree lines, and if he does get caught out, he could eat a lot of damage. At the same time, though, have to see what this Mars is now able to accomplish versus the Kunkka. Of course, we always talk about the Kunkka versus Mars, where every arena is not necessarily a kill anymore. Your damage is fast, but Boat just kind of throws in and throws a wrench into the works, and then suddenly you don't know what you're actually able to finish off here. I think in their final pick on Thunder Awaken, probably just get Pakaz as hero, and whoa,
Ooh,
first Naga. Okay, let's
okay.
go.
So they banned away one of those sort of illusion heroes in the form of the TB, but, well, obviously you can't ban out, well, I guess you could ban out all the illusion heroes. Lava did not, though, so Kaz will get to play the Naga Siren. That does put Matthew on the position 4, Monkey King, as we were talking about. Meanwhile, for Lava, No, no real funny business. Okay. Medusa at the 1, Mars mid, Beastmaster in the off lane for them.
Yeah, and really, they have so many tools to deal with this Medusa. I think Lava are really going to need to do a good job, especially Leo style, of getting in and actually starting these fights. These kills with the spear are just going to be so important because, well, now you've got Song of the Siren, you've got all of these ultimates. You have even the setup where you can Naga Song into getting that Wukong's command down, even though he's just a support. It's a lot of damage to deal with. I am just worried about Lava getting kited out. At the very least, with this Naga Siren pickup, we're kind of barreling towards that 40-minute mark. This game's definitely going to take a chunk of time here. We're not going to see Thunder Awaken. Hopefully, just take the game in 30 minutes. I think their lineup inherently has to take a little bit of a slower path this time around.
Well, we will have to wait and see, but as we mentioned previously, Thunder Awaken, well, they're 1 win away, right? If they can close out the 2-0 sweep here, get themselves not just a perfect 4-0 record today, but a guaranteed top 4 spot. The seeding still up in the air, but they will be guaranteed upper bracket in some form. So they've got that motivation. Meanwhile, for Lava, their situation is not quite as clear. A win here still doesn't get them over the hump entirely, but if you come away from this with no points, then you're looking at your final series tomorrow afternoon being sort of the all-in do or die, where you are going to have to make something happen. So you don't want to have your back against the wall in that sort of circumstance. So we'll see if Lava have some, well, extra motivation, let's say, to make it happen here.
Well, and who knows? If Lava aren't able to get the win, then hey, they're going up versus Dog Champ. See if they can bring Lava down with them. That would be the story of the ages.
Be something of all the times, right? For a team to just say, you know what, we're gonna play out of our minds. You never know, that could always happen to you, and then you feel kind of sad. So Lava gonna look to make something happen here and not have to worry about it tomorrow. But that initial smoke, really not for the purposes of actually finding any sort of fight. They just wanted to get out to those lanes a little bit faster. They were able to throw down the Obs ward before anyone from Thunder Awaken really arrived, but they, well, hold on a second. I thought that was a sentry for a moment, but they actually just dropped the ward on top of another ward, and that is not fooling anyone, Matthew. Trees aren't supposed to move like that.
Yeah, and the Lava one was placed first, and, well, there you go. Dewarded. This contestant on the hill is so funny. I feel like everyone is just placing this ward, getting immediately dewarded. Moose is not even playing around. He's like, I'm stealing that gold from you. I don't need the ward anymore. Okay, you guys got me. It's funny that that's the new hot spot, but Frank,
maybe a step or two too far forward. Panda, are you willing to skill the disruption, though? Not willing to skill anything, actually. He's just going to leave it at that. It's just the right click. So good news is Frank lives. Bad news is that's a lot of damage. That's going to be maybe multiple tangos that he's going to need to use to really get all the way back up. So some nice early harassment. Speaking of harassment, though, Kim's kind of hanging out there, but this is going to be exactly what you expect from that Weaver. He is going to be as obnoxious as possible, although Panda, if he can get his opponent with those shadow poisons, your Weaver is unbelievably fragile, so we'll see if they can pull that one off, as Leo Style has a pause. Not sure if this poison's going to connect or not, but whatever the pause was, it's not going to last very long. The poison, though, did connect, so now if you're the Weaver, you really kind of just need to clear out. You are playing a very, very dangerous game. He is going to be okay for now, but like I said, your Weaver has 560 max HP, so can't afford to stick around too long. Those shadow poisons could catch him off guard.
yeah, and that's where in the Naga Siren, well, Pakaz has a pretty easy lane here. Really classic counter pick versus the Beastmaster. Even once you get the boars up, he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't even have the boar skill. He actually has the axe as level 1, which is never a good sign when your Beastmaster player feels like he has to go for that. But it's just part of the matchup, just knowing that the boars can't really walk up to the wave, especially once Pakaz hits level 2. Even just the 1 point in Riptide is enough to be like, oh, well, this kind of just sucks.
Yeah, it's not a fun situation for the Beastmaster by any means. Hopefully some pressure maybe from the Weaver can alleviate some of that, but you're never going to be able to get rid of that entirely as Panda. That's a
Ooh.
lot of damage. He's actually in some serious trouble here. He's going to turn around trying to throw out those poisons. There's 4 stacks on Frank, but Kim's able to get the kill first, and Frank should be fine because he's got the Riptide. That is going to hurt, but it's not enough damage.
Yeah, and yet again, another 731 change, just making it so that way Riptide is no longer random chance. Also got better at level 1, as every spell in Dota did, but now it's every 5 hits, so on your own, not really that great of a spell, but with the mirror image, it's gotten even stronger, and I think that's where Frank needs to continue to be very careful. And looking at him, at level 2, still no point in the board, he is just terrified of him getting taken down.
Well, it is kind of strange to see a Beastmaster just basically have to ignore his own units, but it worked out, at least for that first kill. Alright, Lava able to get on the board. Meanwhile, take a look mid here. Leo Style is, well, doing pretty good. Holding his own. Somewhat expected considering the Mars is quite a bit tankier than most of the mid matchups that Kunk is used to, but Leo Style not actually going for any sort of point up in the Bulwark just yet, so he's not worried about the damage just yet. It's because going to be able to take down Frank. They get the root down onto Moose as well, as Kaz put a point up into the ensnare. But Kim is going to be able to walk away, but they got the more valuable of the kills. The thing is, over on the other side of the map, the Monkey King does get taken down, so it's a bit of a one-for-one trade, but Monkey King for Beastmaster is going to look pretty good from the Thunder Awaken side of things.
Yeah, and that's where Starbreaker and Dawnbreaker, the level 2's gotten even stronger. So I think it's just Matthew getting caught off guard, and I believe, yeah, has Jingu and Tree Dance, so doesn't have an easy way to pull people off of him if he does get gone on.
Pause relatively short there, so we're going to get back into the action, and, well, we'll see how Matthew now sort of tries to play this in this lane. Normally, when he was on the Ember, he was able to be so obnoxious, but this lane, I don't know, it feels a little different. Not just because he's playing the Monkey King, but you're going up against a Medusa here as well, so we've already got a hero that's kind of hard to do significant damage to, although as I say that, Matthew just goes in and hacks away. Kataro can't afford to pop the mana shield there, because then it would really kind of absorb too much, and he wouldn't have mana for the snakes to try and control equilibrium. So wondering how Matthew would sort of try to be annoying in the lane. He's just going to run at the Medusa and make sure she can't stay 1v1 against Sacred.
Yeah, and that's where we always talk about Medusa needing someone else in the lane. I think Katyu just doing normal support stuff, filled up his mid's bottle, made the run of things, but Medusa is just one of those heroes where you're very helpless. You need someone to pull your small camp. You're always pushing the wave in with the Mystic Snake, so you open yourself up to a lot of needless harass sometimes. But that's also where Katyu, he's got the hammer. He should be fine here. He even got wider in the trail, so it's something that maybe Thunder Awaken need to be cautious of, but just little changes.
Meanwhile, back down bot, Frank is getting run out a little bit here. Not enough damage to bring him down just yet. Now, Kaz, gotta be careful. He got clipped by those axes, and then Kim sort of Shikuchi's forward, but not enough for the kill just yet. As back up top, Sacred gonna get turned on. Taro and Katyu pushing forward. The kill does get split between them, but it is another kill in this top lane, and well, you were already looking at a situation here where Taro is not necessarily going to be shut down. Now you're giving him a little bit of extra money, and speaking of extra money, Panda is going to get himself caught out down bot. That leaves Bakaz alone, and yeah, they actually now have to TP Matthew down here just to make sure that this Naga Siren isn't going to get jumped in on, but that might still happen. You look at Kim Shikuchiing his way forward. They are looking for it. They don't actually get the wrap though, but look at those axes coming in again. Bakaz is just desperately trying to dance around this. I think he's going to be okay for now with that salve healing him up, but even further reinforcements have to be brought in as Panda returns to the lane, but now they've got the disruption. Maybe Frank's gone a bit too far. It looks like they are going to be able to bring him down, so they finally survived that one, but that's both of the supports having to come down to the lane, and your Naga Siren very nearly dies anyway. That's a second salve now being applied.
And here's the bait. Does he get the spear? It should land.
Stun is in. They don't have the damage for this, though, actually. Kim Drives by with the Shikuchi, but that's not enough, and now Matthew wants revenge. He's going to push his way forward, but you got to be careful. He is taking a fair bit of damage himself, but Boundless Strike will win him that fight. So Thunder Awaken managing to hold on there, but now everybody is suddenly partying in this bottom lane. They brought Dark Mago in even on their own side, so lots of resources from both sides. But if you're Thunder Awaken, at least your Naga Siren lives. That's kind of the most important aspect here.
She lives, she gets salved twice, she gets the reset. They were really just standing on their tippy toes there, just hoping that she wouldn't get taken down, because otherwise everything gets thrown out the window. But it's also the respect that Leo Style has to hand over to Dark Mago. I think that's why he gives up on the rekill so easily, is just because there really isn't an easy way back in on him. And I feel like Katyu maybe should have been involved in that fight, just knowing that he has the most magic damage in the game right now. He can probably provide a lot of the necessary damage to finish off a lot of the kills that they were trying to start. And well, now that Primal Roar is online, everything changes a little bit, and they are trying to hunt down Picaz in the jungle, but at the same time, he's just going to make a break for it, and he's actually looking to turn on Katyu.
Yeah, they're going to try and turn around. Dark Mago is here. They've got that X into the Torrent, into the Ghost Ship. Full combo comes through. Katyu taken down. Kim is still here, but I'm not sure if he really... Yeah, he can't really do anything. He's just got to back off. So I like the aggressive play from Lava. It's just, well, once you're spotted, somebody's going to try and come and stop you. So weren't able to get out in time. Kataro, meanwhile, in the north side jungle was getting run at. He's able to fall back, but for Matthew and Sacred, they're just really looking to get the Medusa out of farming spaces, and technically speaking, they do so. So sort of considered mission accomplished. But yeah, Leo Style's looking to make moves. Picaz gets caught out. The spear locks him in place, and he doesn't even stick around to actually secure the kill himself. He knows that the arena will do the job for him, so that gives him maybe a head start trying to make his escape, but he doesn't have a TP, so really he shouldn't be getting out of here, but I can't actually keep up with him. The spear is going to knock them back. Dark Mago and Panda, though, still chasing.
Oh my goodness.
Long chase. Panda has the angle, though. He's going to get the disruption down, and that should allow them to set up as the Torrent. Well, it was free-fired, but it wasn't really timed out correctly. But now here comes Picaz. They will finally get Leo Style down, but that's 4 heroes chasing across basically half the map to get it. They needed it, for sure. Could not let Leo Style walk out of there after that kill, especially considering he had no TP, but still had to chase pretty far. But now Frank is going to get hit up. That Centaur stun comes in first into the Roar. Maybe not how you wanted to have to use the Primal there, but it at least gets him away, and that's going to put an end to Dark Mago's aggression.
Hey, some nifty micro plays, you know, can never park on a guy for that, but all of this rotation, all of this time spent has left Sacred in the top lane pretty much by himself. He's had a really free game up until this point, and being level 7, you know he's going to want to put pressure on the tower now, and I think that's where Matthew, they might look for a free dive here on Katyu. Now, ideally, do they get Katyu? They might look for a bigger target, but I think damage-wise, they actually can't kill off the Medusa, so they're going to instead go for mid. And Leo Style.
Caught Leo Style a second time, and, well, Sacred did have to commit the ult for that one, so the question is now what do they try to do with the remaining time on those Brewlings? They are kind of hunting for Kim, but that's not really a kill they're going to be able to get. Meanwhile, Matthew, he's been spotted out here, but he's got teammates coming in. Dark Mago's going to arrive. And Katyu, he may just have to be sacrificed at this point. He'll sort of double back in just to make sure Kataro can walk away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you have to trade out Katyu so easily, but hey, no pressure on the tower just yet. Kataro gets to walk away and farm a little bit easier, and, well, okay. Now, how do you deal with the downtime where there's no roar? They still need to play up on the Naga Siren, but Picaz, it feels like he's been more or less untouched. He'd be even more farmed if he wasn't under the pressure that he has been in this game, but already has his Yasha. He's not really stopping.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, this is even with him maybe getting a little bit pressured up in the laning stage. Still 3-1-1. Frank, not sure you can get that kill on your own, but Kim's coming in to help. Picaz, though, there's the ult, and this is going to be an absolute disaster. They are completely stuck. I think they might just ignore Kim entirely to go after the Beastmaster kill, and yeah, they'll do exactly that. Frank, obviously the far more valuable target. They will take him down, even killing off the bird there with the Tidebringer, so a little bit of extra gold. And now Matthew, he actually caught Kim Can he get the kill? Not quite. Time lapse is going to be there, but he's keeping tabs on it, trying to get in range for the X as Dark Mago, but not going to be able to do so. But honestly, again, you get the more valuable of the kill because, well, I guess just scaling it up in a situation where Lava thought he wasn't going to. Thought this might be like a TB situation where you just don't scale the Sunder, but you gotta wonder, right? Because they go in pretty damn confident there, and the Song of the Siren turns everything around.
Yeah, now Kachu is making plays with their cooldowns pretty much off cooldown. They're just always using their abilities, their tools, and hey, with 10 seconds left on the Brewmaster split, they're going to try and put some pressure here on top lane. Lava are doing their due diligence though. They immediately try to swing back at mid, and with the DD rune, I think Leostown is a little bit too faster, but they're so afraid of the Shadow Demon.
They're not going to get it. 65 HP. That's rough. The question is, if you're, Thunder Awaken, do you deny it? The answer is yes. Panda just goes in for it. So the tower does fall, but the gold is not really going to go the way Lava wanted it to. The glyph is now back on Thunder Awaken's side, and as you mentioned, ET, Primal Split, let's back up. Let's go hunting. We're going to smoke up and see what they can find. What they can find really needs to not be Weaver, though. Kim is going to do everything in his power to break this up, but Thunder Awaken are, as of right now, kind of bypassing that Weaver, looking for the longer wraparound, and the Medusa is unfortunately angling directly towards that shroud. Well, okay, Solar Guardian's going to come out here. Katyu's going to try to give him a hand, but I don't know. The Taro Medusa is still just losing so much mana. The health, though, not getting whittled down quite as quickly, but I think they should still be able to get this. Leosal, though, goes in. He's going to drop down the arena. That's enough to take Matthew out, but Kataro will still fall. And now the reinforcements that you brought over to try and save your Medusa are actually the targets. They need to try and protect Katyu a little bit here, but they may just have to let him die, although with Leostyle coming up from behind, they haven't actually surrendered just yet. Panda's the one to fall. They get the spear stun in. There's going to be the Starbreaker as well. Even the Roar locking Dark Mago down, and this is all going to turn around. Sacred now falls. They didn't get a single kill out of it. There we go. I knew it all along. As Leostyle will survive. And I mean, that was terrible. Medusa dies, but the cost is just astronomically high.
I really think that they need to be a little bit more conscious about the Stormbreaker. That was the first save of the game. That was the first Solar Guardian where we're like, okay, that guy's actually still in the lobby, but at the same time, they just way overcommitted. They had all of their damage really just cease after the split, and without your Naga Siren really in any position to sync up with you, I think they just took the fight a little bit too far away from where Bakaz could actually reasonably show up, and Bakaz is going to want to show up. He's got the Manta Style, he's going to look for the Diffusal Blade next, and then that's your Medusa answer right there, but until then, they were sorely needing that Song of the Siren reset. Without it, again, they just dove a little bit too deep, and without items like BKBs, Lotus Orbs, even the Ags on the Brewmaster, it just kind of all fell apart at the same time. But a bunch of gold now shifting into Lava's hands. They're going to take that every day of the week.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the Dusa did go down there, because that gold doesn't go directly over to her. But the rest of the team certainly benefiting quite nicely, and Kataro really does not get set back too much. That was his first death. He's just right back into the jungle and the lane, just farming up here, a little ways behind the Kunkka, and about 1k behind the Naga Siren, but that is a gap that your Medusa can actually close as this game goes on. So, concerning, yes. Is it really an unclosable, excuse me, as I said, unclosable gap? No, not really. They can make that up, but now Sacred, be a little bit careful here. He's going to get the Primal Split off in time. Leostyle did throw the arena down for that, but the Cyclone comes in. There's going to be a TP from Dark Mago. They want this fight. Big Boundless Strike as well. Actually hitting up onto 2. They need to be able to kill him off. There we go. They get the damage in. Leostyle will be taken down. Meanwhile, another Cyclone in onto Frank. He's going to try for the Roar, but realistically, I think I would have preferred him to hold it, because now it's on cooldown, and it didn't do him any good in terms of survival.
Yeah, and they're trying to make this push down bottom, making space for the Medusa, just keeping their opponents as far away as possible. But hey, Bakaz is going to TP in and get all those kills, get the cleanup. I don't know. That's kind of a risk that I don't think you want to take, especially because Well, the Medusa can kind of show up now. Once the Diffusal Blade is up, the risk heavily increases, and I don't think we're going to see nearly as much of Kataro post that. But if you start playing behind Thunder Awaken, we've seen what they can do once they get even just a little lead, and they're looking towards the next stage of items, and suddenly we're going to have a pretty big problem on our hands here. Because Halberd done, well, I think what... Okay, I actually went back for the Hood of Defiance instead of the Axe components on the Brewmaster, but really, we're looking towards that next stage, and then I think Lava are really going to struggle to find that fight. But with item timings of their own, Blink on Leo style, we really need to see that Blink Arena right now.
They've got it back up in just a few seconds. Meanwhile, Kim finished off an Orchid, so we've got a little bit more in the way of firepower. They're going to try to put it to use on Sacred. They do hit him up first. Can they kill him off in time, though? He is going to get silenced and stunned. He is not able to get that ult off yet, but look at Panda in there with the disruption. Sacred is still not actually going to get it off. He didn't even have the Crown to split. I don't know what I was talking about, but Sacred will fall. Frank traded out, though, and Thunder Awaken, I mean, they're trying to buy time for their heroes to get in position as Dark Mago will win the fight against Catview, but the real hero that needed to be here was Pakaz, and I mean, he's here now, but it feels like it's a little bit too late. But with Dark Mago coming over, maybe they try to force the issue. Kim is able to hit him up with a silence. Kunkka just continues to run through to really meet up with the Naga Siren, but is there anything they can do here? Dark Mago gets the X, but at this point, your Naga Siren just decided she didn't actually want to fight anymore. Pakaz went back to farming, so it looks like this one is going to come to an end.
Yeah, and honestly, it's the same mistake where Pakaz is just a little bit too far, and really good intuition from Leo style there, just to immediately throw down the arena, cuts the tree where the Monkey King is playing, so we don't get to see any assistance from him until after Sacred's already gone down, but at the same time, they pick this Naga because it's slightly more up-tempo. I think Pakaz just needs to be a little bit more careful, or even the rest of Thunder Awaken need to formulate their fights just a little bit easier and a little bit more closely together, and well, they're all standing underneath the ward right now. Need to be really careful because Lava, they're in the vicinity, but I don't know if they want this fight. Sacred has his ulti this time around, but this is very risky.
He didn't get it off in time. The spear is going to lock him down first. The roar even there to make sure. And in the meantime, Kim was actually running interference. He was able to take down Panda, does sacrifice his own life for it, but it's going to buy time for the rest of the lineup to move in. Matthew not able to deny himself to Roche after getting pushed into the pit, and well, if you're Lava, yeah, you might as well. Fight takes place and ends around the pit. You're going to just go in and try and grab that Aegis, presumably for your Medusa. And well, if you're Thunder Awaken, I think you need to be very, very concerned now. And once again, taking fights without the Naga Siren is so unbelievably risky, as Roshan did die. Dark Mago got the kill, but the Aegis goes into the hands of Kataro. And now, Dark Mago, he's not going to get out. There's going to be the Spear Stun, big disruption play. Song of the Siren now being deployed as well. They've just got to get Dark Mago out of here. Because he needs to be able to get out as well. I don't think you can hold this high ground really all by yourself. Matthew's coming in, but this is still a rough fight. This is still a Medusa with Aegis. Maybe they can try to fight around the Medusa and see what that gets them, but Leo Style says no. Jumps in, drops the arena. Spear stun there. Panda dead. Dark Mago dropping low. He'll fall as well. And Thunder Awaken, I think they should have just gotten out when they had the chance, ET. Now they're going to pay for it.
No, they need to continuously run, but hey, Sacred, he's right here. If they want, they can go for that. They look for Matthew as well with the ward they placed in the previous fight. Oh no, everything's just falling apart.
Matthew, he should die here. Kim just needs to hit him up once or twice more. Mischief play, worth a try, but not going to work. And that was so strange. They had the disruption that saved their teammate initially. The Song of the Siren was used, and Dark Mago doesn't leave. Pakaz stays up on that ramp, but that's not a strong enough position to just stand there by yourself. And well, Lava sort of proved that to be true as they take that fight, and now they're in an even better position. They just took that engagement. Song of the Siren is down for quite some time, and the Aegis on the Medusa means they really don't have to worry about any pressure onto Kataro.
Nope, not at all, and it's very important for Kataro to have this. It's the farming Aegis. This is the get you to your next items Aegis, and at the same time, he is still playing behind the Naga Siren farm-wise. You're still going to see Pakaz's Scotty, he finished a few more minutes sooner than the Medusas, but honestly, they're going to take everything they have in between, and Moose, I think he might be caught. He's been a real menace here. and he will go down. And Frank, actually, he showed his face for a second there, so he needs to be very cautious. But Dark Mago still catching the Weaver. He needs to continue to find these kills because it's items like his BKB, his AC, his heart, everything in the works is going to be so important for actually taking these super long team fights. The Aghanim Scepter, even, just to force your opponents to go for items like the BKB and continuously almost commit on those big fights. And, oh, Kitaro, he's shitting this tower. Okay.
Nearly getting it. He's actually just going to stick it. Yeah. You can get that tower. These illusions don't really matter too much. Wasn't going to slow it down, so they will get the tier 2. This Medusa starting to gain ground on those other cores. Pretty much caught up with Dark Mago, and only a couple thousand now behind your Naga Siren. But in the Scotty race, Because is the winner. Does manage to get it up first, but, well, is that enough to matter? Will Because try and lead his team into the next fight? Because, as we've seen repeatedly, when they fight without the Naga Siren, it is very much up in the air in terms of how much damage and control they actually have to work with.
Yeah, that's also where I wonder what Pakaz goes for next, because typically in the Naga Siren buildup, you'd look for Bloodthorn next, so that way you actually have some kill potential here, but instead it's very simply going to be the Butterfly, I think, large in part because building Mage Slayer on an Agi carry really isn't something you necessarily want to do every single game, especially not in this game. So we're not going to see that same buildup where that was the choice before. You'd get a Silver Edge and you'd get a an Orchid, and then suddenly you're a menace across the map. But instead, he's almost forced into this with the new item buildup. At the same time, though, never going to be a bad choice versus the Medusa. As soon as you try to force these characters or these heroes like the Medusa into slotted positions where it's like Kitaro, he doesn't have enough room for an MKB and a BKB and everything else. It forces him to choose, and you don't have that luxury spot where otherwise you do have time, you do have room to make way. Don't think we're going to see a big push in a long time, though. I think this is where we're really going to settle in here for a bit, at least until the Aegis is done.
Yeah, if you're Thunder Awaken, it's about 45 seconds out from being reclaimed, so now is really maybe not the time to try and push in. If they wanted to try and base a team fight exactly around the Aegis being taken away, then I kind of feel like that ship has already sailed. They're too split up to really make that attempt. So, not going to get crazy with it. I'll just continue to farm. Mention that the Medusa is sort of building up. The Naga Siren is still farming well as middle lane. Okay, they are going to give this a go. They've got the boat coming in. Sacred got off the ult, so they're going to try and take down somebody. But Kim, he was able to get himself out with the time lapse, and, well, that really doesn't amount to much of anything. And now you're down Ghost Ship and Primal Split.
No, it's not a good position, and I doubt that they try to now defend this mid tower. If this mid tower does stand, I think it's really just because Kitaro is choosing to avoid the fight without Aegis. There is a very real possibility of Pakaz coming back now from his area and then suddenly finding a kill, especially because... Oh.
Styles in. They're able to get the spear stun into the roar. There's no Primal Split, but they aren't taking chances. They want to get him off the field as quickly as possible. Sacred is going to get taken down, and now they are attempting to move on to other targets. Panda would be the easiest for them to hit up, and they will do exactly that. Leo Style with both of the kills. And now, well, the backdoor protection's kicked in. They've got a creep wave coming up, though, in just a few seconds. So they can start hammering away at this tier 2 tower. And because you could try to get involved now, but you're doing so without 2 of your teammates. So it would be tough for them to mount a defense here.
I think at this point, they're just waiting for the butterfly timing. They would love to get a BKB and Dark Mago around the same time, and they should sync up pretty nicely, but there's just not any good option for them right now. I think that next timing is really all that they're playing for. Aside from that, I think Lava are very pleased with all these kills that are kind of falling into their lap. They're getting exactly what they want on the return. Haven't had to use the Solar Guardian in a very long time because they haven't been under threat, but as for Pakaz, well, found him.
Okay. So now with that, the threat of the Solar Guardian as backup, yeah, they're going to push forward in the bottom lane. They take down Kim. Matthew looking to keep on going as they catch out Frank. Frank has the roar up in 4 seconds, but that means he has to survive that long, and that's not really going to happen. Frank taken down, looking for even more. They did get the X onto Leo Style, but he was able to blink himself away. Don't believe they're going to be able to catch up to him, but Well, Pakaz making plays even when he's not on the same side of the map as his teammate. That kill onto the Cat-U Dawnbreaker really did open up so much more for Thunder Awaken in terms of how confidently they could push forward.
Yeah, and of course, Cat-U does have buyback, and oh, are you going to be forced to buyback? You have 4 seconds here remaining. They do walk away, but still, they also found the perfect kill order. You're not going to see a buyback coming in from the Dawnbreaker for your Weaver or your Beastmaster. If they found the Medusa immediately, then we would have seen a large-scale fight, but because they don't find him, they find everyone else first. I'm getting a little bit concerned here, because now we're at that timing. Kaz has the Butterfly, and until you get that MKB, Kataro's sitting on a broadsword here, but he's going to see the bad news any second, and we have a big problem on our hands, especially if we get dragged over towards that Roche pit.
Well, let's see if and when they sort of respond to that news, is because not going to have to worry quite as much about this. And if you're Lava now, yeah, what exactly do you try to do? You're down your Stone Gaze. That is a bit unfortunate, but the Roar's back up. The arena's ready. They're going to look to go on the offensive, moving their way into the south side jungle. But Dark Mago is already starting to shove off a little bit here, and don't know if they could close that gap in time. And honestly, between just Kim and Leostyle, I don't know they could get the kill even if they found the jump in. So better for them to just sort of play it cool for now. Leostyle will take the outpost, but up in the top lane, Pakaz was able to take down a tower. So Awaken really trying to press their advantage right now. Nearly 8k up on their opponents. Now Matthew, he's silenced up by Kim, but not really going to be doing a whole lot there. But now both sides aware that the other is sort of maneuvering into the south side jungle.
No, but they're all cutting around the ward. We're again seeing a team, and Lava specifically, they love hugging these high ground wards, but that's where all it takes is one boundless strike. And Sacred, he's just running in.
Good where Leostyle is. He's got the high, he's got the spot. He's going to jump in. Panda, he's going to get taken down pretty quickly here, so that defensive capability, it was out for about a half a second. He buys back and TP's in. Meanwhile, that torrent hits onto about 2 or 3. Matthew's going to be taken down. The Ghost Ship now hitting onto Cat-U as well, so they will sort of cut off about half of that Lava lineup. But they're still fighting on Kataro. He is going to pop the Stone Gaze. Sacred doesn't really care about that. He's just going to activate the ult, get right back in there. Mana Shield burned through. Kataro dead, and Leostyle wasn't able to escape. The Cyclone from that Spirit is able to put him up in the air, and well, ET, what do you know? When Thunder Awaken fight with Pakaz next to them, it goes quite a bit better, as they really take that fight entirely. There's a couple of buybacks from their supports, but other than that, it's a pretty solid sweep.
Yeah, and I really don't think that finding the initial kill onto the Shadow Demon, we need to hit more than just one hero. Of course, immediately the split came out afterwards. We saw the Medusa get sent up so quickly. Sacred was so fast about sending her up into the air. Oh,
that's pretty.
Well,
Matthew faked out the Boundless Strike a couple of times, then dusted when he knew the Shikuchi was coming. That allows him to actually hit the Boundless and secure the kill, and now, without the threat of the Weaver, with no sort of split push coming, or not split push, but creep cut anywhere, they're just all in into the base. They take the whole bottom lane of Rax, and they know they can transition mid with very limited resistance.
And it might be stretching it to say they get the full lane, and oh, they're not even going to attempt bait. The Cause is being really patient here, and the Medusa will force everyone out of the base, but hey, there's another objective. Rose just respawned. You still didn't need to use your Song of the Siren, which is the craziest part to me, is they won that fight without needing that secondary reset. They still had, I think, really a lot more spells they could have thrown out, but with the 2 buybacks, it's now up to Lava. They need to smoke, they need to find the supports, they need to create that 3v5 situation to assure them Roche, but I honestly don't think that Thunder Awaken are going to give it to them. Lava are the ones that are under all the pressure right now. They need to find something. If they don't, well, Roche has been started. The Cause has a heart, 4,000 HP to his name. They got to do something real quick here.
For Lava, I'm not sure if they know this is happening right now, because you're not really seeing a big sense of urgency from them in terms of maneuvering their way over there. So yeah, the Aegis will simply go into the hands of the Naga Siren. Dark Mago grabbed the shard for himself. Is he actually going to use it on himself, though? That Tidal Wave is really not an ability that we see him pick up all that often, but he is going to use it, so drag some enemies out of position. If you can hit up really any of these cores, especially if you can use that tidal wave to maybe disrupt the Mars's play inside of his arena, then why not, right? We'll see how well that sort of goes for him. As Thunder Awaken are now going to push their way onto the high ground. They were very cautious last time with these mid-racks. This time, throwing caution to the wind. They take the whole thing, and they might just go top as well. That part's going to feel maybe a little bit riskier, but because it's 2 lives, he says, let's go for it, boys. Let's try and just win. And, well, he gets a spear to the back for his trouble, but there's not a lot of follow-up, and he's got that heart, so he's just healing back up, whittling away at the tier 3. You see the defenders for Lava just sort of inching their way forward, but no one is willing to fully commit for this just yet.
That's where Kitaro, they're putting all these buffs on him. He has to be so careful about getting actually dragged out by that tidal wave, and that's the nicest thing about this tidal wave is during the timing where you're all getting pulled, you can't actually attack, and look, it's in the air.
Hold on.
They're going to try to ignore the Medusa. Oh, no.
That is some big brain stuff. They get the tier 3. They're going to take the melee racks. They did lose Matthew, but if they can actually get the megas, I don't think they're going to care. And they did get it. The megas have been acquired. Now we'll see. Do they actually want to fight, or do they just try and back themselves out? Dark Mego looks like he's retreating. Sacred is going to pop a second ult here while Pakaz goes in. Still 2 lives to work with. His Cat U is going to fall. Frank and Leo Style, they're really not looking so hot here. The Bulwark is even being thrown out as Leo Style just desperately tries to keep himself in this fight. And now Dark Mego is going to re-enter. Not a lot of HP, but he got the Ags. That's what he backed off for. The Torrent Storm is just going to ruin all of this, and here's where things get rough. Song of the Siren exclusively to set up onto Kitaro. Leo Style's going to try to come in to help. Big Spear stunning up the Naga. Kitaro, though, is still getting hammered at by the illusion. Sacred's coming in for the damage as well. Kitaro cannot afford to die here. He does not have money for his buyback, and he's dead. Tidal Wave, meanwhile, pulling Leo Style away from his tier 4s. He'll be taken down as well. Double kill for Pakaz. Beyond godlike at 14-1, and that's it. The GG's called. Thunder Awaken marched their way into the upper bracket. They are just something else at this point, ET.
It was a really good game. How helpless can you feel if you're Kitaro in that situation? They march up, they send you in the air. They just guys, help me. I can't do anything. Someone needs to stop this man. And there's really just not enough items on Lava to stop that from happening. I think maybe if Kitaro had gone for, you could say, an earlier BKB, we don't see that same sad situation play out. And Kitaro really wasn't getting a lot of the kills in this game. He was just finding his farm the slow way, the slow and steady way. But I really feel like that pre-timing, that first Aegis that Lava were able to pick up, maybe they were too happy with the farm they were getting. Maybe they weren't getting as many objectives as they should have. But at the end of the day, a last pick Noggin, right? I don't think Lava are going to be beating themselves up too much about it, but it's still, what a way to go down. But Thunder Awaken, this is a different style than they've run in really any of their other games. They have proven now, though, hey, if you guys want to go late, let's go for it. Let's see what you guys can do once we have all of these team fight spells, once we can try and actually out-execute you. It's a really scary team to pull off that kind of style, and, well, if they're not running at you and winning in the first 30 minutes, well, I guess we're going to see what you can do past 35 when they have every single item under the sun.
Yeah, and this is, I think, really interesting as we get to the back end of the group stage. This was not Thunder Awaken's final matchup, but we're sort of getting there. Now is the time, especially, to prove to some of these teams, you know, yeah, we're not a one-trick pony. We can play at multiple styles, despite the fact that the previous style was very nearly flawless outside of the Hikori series, but now there's even less for teams to try and plan against them, right? Lava thought, you know, maybe they can't go late. Maybe their whole shtick is force early fights and just be overwhelming in the first 20 to 30 minutes. Very much not the case. Thunder Awaken are capable of sort of shifting gears a little bit there, and because one of the stronger performances I think we've seen in this event, and it comes on a hero that he has not gotten to play in quite some time.
Yeah, and of course, you say it's a new style. He's still got Dark Mega Kunkka.
That's true,
He's still going to be there. He's still going to be doing his annoying thing, and I'm just surprised that after first phase of Beastmaster, we didn't see the Kunkka ban, but hey, running out of bans versus a lot of these teams that are proving themselves as just individually exceptional, and Thunder Awaken is every sense of the word.
And as we were mentioning before, with this victory, Thunder Awaken are now, I believe, guaranteed a top 4 spot. Which spot that is, yeah, that might still be up for debate a little bit. But honestly, I think if you're Thunder Awaken, your response to that question is who cares? Regardless of their seed, they've got to be considered the favorite here, unless maybe they get paired up against Hikori. Then we might have to ask some questions. But even then, now I'm still wondering. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times now, exactly what Hikori found that other teams can't really find. And I don't want to discredit Hikori, but the fact that Thunder Awaken have not dropped a game other than that series makes me think maybe that was just an off day. Maybe Thunder Awaken really don't have too many weaknesses, right?
Well, in that series, Thunder Awaken was also up, I think, 5K gold at the 15-minute mark in both their games, and then they just kind of threw it away. But maybe their own worst enemy could have been the case in that series. But no, Hikori, they definitely proved themselves. And as we always bring up, especially in this tournament and in this iteration of Hikori, the consistency is just there. It feels like with their new pickups, they finally got something that's actually working and working versus both NA and SA, where in the past they would usually fumble very typically versus NA, and then versus the SA teams, they would only get the 1-1s. That's why we would always see them fall towards that lower bracket. But now we'll have to see if they can keep this going, especially with their very important series tomorrow.
Yeah, Hikori will be in action tomorrow. That will be their final series, and they'll be looking to reclaim first place because they did just lose it. Thunder Awaken with this
Mhm.
victory snatched sole possession of first for the time being. It is also worth noting for that matchup in particular, since Hikori won 2-0 against Thunder Awaken have to actually claim first place outright. If it's a tiebreaker,
Mhm.
they do lose it. So
Mhm.
yeah, one last day of action in the group stage should have some, again, high stakes stuff like we saw today outside of the King of Kings Dog Champ series. That one was just maybe a little breather before we got back into the more tense action. But that is it. We are done for the day. 4 more best of twos in the books. And as I said before, we move now to the very last day of this group stage. So still, I believe, 4 spots now that have yet to be determined, with Thunder Awaken punching their ticket to the upper bracket. So Hikori, Lava, Four Zoomers, and Infamous have yet to determine their fate. They will know where they're going to be by the end of tomorrow afternoon. We'll be starting up again, really same time. I don't know why I keep telling you it's the same start time throughout the whole of Phase 2, but I will remind you, just in case, it is going to be 1 p.m. Pacific time. ET and I will be here. Hopefully, you'll be here as well. So, for tonight, we'll be shutting things down. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.